Good day. Hi. Welcome to Scrum Master, Cybrary's Scrum Master course. Hi, I'm Jack, and I'm going to be your instructor. Today, what we're going to do is go through a little bit of an introduction as to what the course is all going to be about. Let's go ahead and first introduce myself. My name is Jack Scurry. It's rather interesting last name. I currently hold a bachelor's in business management. I came from the U.S. Army. I served 21 years. And subsequent to that, I served 30 years in the IT field, 10 in which loosely related to my service in the military. And then, of course, 20 years in IT security. As when I was in security in the IT field, I had an opportunity to serve as a manager. And in many times, I had an opportunity to actually serve in Scrum Master positions. I was actually a traditional Scrum Master, but also when I went to different assignments while I was a contractor, I try to incorporate many of the Agile values into how I was actually leading people. And it was pretty advantageous as a process altogether. And once again, more about myself. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania originally. I really do like to travel. The one interesting thing, and they ask you to talk about yourself, say what one interesting thing about you. And the one interesting thing about me is that I was actually assigned as a musician in the Army. I served 21 years. And subsequent to that, it gave me a great opportunity to serve in IT community, and primarily I also served the folks over in the federal government contracting circles in many assignments throughout the entire country at different levels, performing many different roles. I've really been proud and happy to say that I was able to serve in that capacity. I'm currently, I have the CISM, that's my certification, that is a Certified Information Security Manager. I also have CompTIA Security Plus certification. And of course, I am a Certified Scrum Master from the Scrum Alliance, which I had received a couple years ago. I have served approximately 2 to 3 years serving as a primary Scrum Master, but many of the things you learn through being a Scrum Master, and if I didn't already say it, the Scrum Master role is pretty much a role bound to adhering to Agile values. This is the role that you're going to take as we're going to learn about. That individual that's going to serve as that center point of contact, ensuring that in this situation, and we're going to be focusing primarily on application development, that the Scrum Master takes a lead role in organizing, motivating, coaching different entities in and around the Agile process, so that these teams that we're going to talk about are going to be much more effective in being able to provide support for that organization, or the product manager, or the project manager, or the product manager. And of course, there's many different organizations that have different roles, but of course, learning these capabilities are going to be paramount to being successful in many different types of organizations. So enough about me, and let's get right into the course. Of course, if you've ever taken the Cybrary type of course before, you'll know that you have different modules, and then a different number of modules are going to be cut into multiple lessons. First lesson in Agile. We are not going to bloviate. We are not going to overextend the learning time frame that I've been asked to adhere to. So we're going to do a thing called time box. I'm going to time box 10-minute sections of each lesson. So this lesson will start out, of course, with an introduction. I will tell you about the content that we're going to be covering as part of the lesson. And then once I've finished the lesson, I'll have a summary of what we had covered. Then we'll move into typically in a test and review. Periodically, when we do cover one whole module, I'll go forth and we'll have a period of time where we'll go over questions that the CSM course may want. So it's going to be I want to make this is not death by PowerPoint, but I want to have real world situations and real world discussions so that when you do go out into the Agile world, you will feel comfortable knowing what this is. And of course, in the slide before, and I will go right back to this before, if you by any chance would like to contact me, you see my email address, and I will also have my LinkedIn information. I think I'm the only John or Jack Scurria in LinkedIn, so please feel free to even add me into your LinkedIn group. For anybody that would like to join and know more about the Agile and be part of the Scrum Master course, there is no real overwhelming amount of information that you're going to need to make your way into this course. Of course, there is kind of a nice idea if you were to already understand some of the business processes that are going forward today, and primarily not just application development, pretty much working in the workforce in IT, but not even that. I mean, working in a bakery, there's all processes. You can relate many of the things that we're going to talk about here through different operations and different production. And actually the very core root of what Agile came from is not IT at all, but the folks over in the application development field really took and ran with it because it was incredibly important and it worked rather well. The next item that we're going to go talk about is the course materials. Throughout the course, I'll be providing different links and locations of different items that will be helpful for you to understand what we're talking about in the interim. If you, for some reason, would like to have more information about actually going into Scrum or doing stand-ups and Scrums, I will make sure that there are going to be available resources so that if the course content is not as in-depth or you have questions or problems, I will also invite you to make a comment on the actual course and say, well, I think that maybe we should have something like this. The interesting thing about Agile, I would like to be your Scrum Master. And in this course, whenever we do have issues or items that we may enhance the organization, I want to hear about it because guess what? That's part of the Agile framework. And of course, you saw the word process, and a lot of people think, well, Agile is not a process. But for the most part, they say that anything that adheres to the Agile values and customs, then that is indeed Agile. Now, if you want to use the word process, I did already, so I'm not going to hold you to it. But on the test, if you want to take the test, I just want to make sure you know that might be a question. But I'll make sure we're all a part of that. The one thing I want to also make sure that we all have a capability is putting Agile and Scrum to work. And I'm going to be using the knowledge base of Scrum Alliance. That's my certification. But there are many different organizations out there that also pontificate that, yes, we are Agile too. You have a safe Agile. And there's other different certifications, organizations carry on. I mean, they're all carrying out good information. We're going to talk about Scrum Alliance. We're going to talk about all the other aspects of different organizations and how this is actually being used. I'll make sure that, if there is any questions or problems and if you like additional information, I will make sure that if I can facilitate it, I would most certainly help you out as best as I can. This course is actually intended for anyone that would like to know, not explicitly the role of the Scrum Master, but the Scrum Master is the key point that we're looking at here. But we're also looking at the different focused roles within Agile. There are 3 specific roles. One is Scrum Master is going to be that leader, that's that center, that coach, that person that's kind of driving the quote-unquote train. We'll all talk about that. But we're also talking about the product owner. That's the boss. You're going to be helping the boss to tell us, the product or the development team exactly on how we can best facilitate it. And there are certain ceremonies and aspects to Agile that you will learn and define as we go through the course. If the target audience is like, if you do want to become a CSM, a certified Scrum Master, that's also something you can do. If you're somebody that, I've been out of the development field and I'm moving into an organization and we're going to be going forward on performing Agile, and you already have a great Cybrary account, well, then you're going to have a great opportunity to understand and go through the lexicon and go through the actual dynamics of the team development and then team performing on the development cycles. And you're going to love it. It's great. And then learn about team dynamics. I really think that people who are working in an Agile field are really incredible people. People in the IT field tend to be inventive and creative. They're the people that are thinking out of the box all the time. Agile is a process that wants people to think out of the box, to be creative, to be helpful, to go that extra mile. We're going to set goals, and we're going to try to create a positive atmosphere. But as to say that the very end part, though, is we are, I got to go back to the, okay, so my general thoughts are, let's have fun. This is not a subject that you have to be constrained with. People that actually are agile are people that are more cooperative, I think. And when we do go through the agile values, that's going to be something that if you take into your life's work and you work with people that have these life values and these work values, your life and your work is going to be much easier. I think it's a fun aspect of a team dynamic, and I think that you'll really enjoy it. I thank you so much. Take care. Bye. I'll see you on Module 2.